At midnight, Noah found a ticket on his desk. It was old, cream-colored, and stamped for tonight only. No sender name appeared anywhere on the paper. Only one line stood at the center. The Museum of Unlived Days is now open. Noah should have laughed and thrown it away. Instead, the lights in his apartment flickered twice. Then a key appeared beside the ticket. It was cold and strangely heavy in his hand. When Noah opened his front door, the hallway had changed. The building corridor had become a silent marble passage. At the end stood a museum entrance with no guards. Above it hung a dark sign lit by one. Noah stepped inside before his courage disappeared. The doors shut behind him without a sound. The lobby was enormous and almost completely empty. A faceless attendant waited beside a tall directory board. Each hall carried a year from Noah's life. Others carried names like someday, later, and not yet. The attendant handed Noah a small map in silence. At the bottom, a warning had been written. Please do not touch the unfinished exhibits. Noah walked into the first glowing hallway. Behind the glass stood an ordinary Tuesday morning. He saw himself hit snooze instead of waking up. Another case showed a message he never sent. Another held a gym bag left by the door. Another displayed a book still wrapped in plastic. No disasters had stopped any of those moments. They were lost to one sentence: "I'll do it later." The second hall was harder to watch. These exhibits were larger and painfully brighter. A train ticket sat beneath cracked museum glass. He had almost taken that solo trip at 24. One phone call could have repaired an old friendship. One application could have changed his career. One honest confession could have saved a relationship. One beginner project could have become a business. Every case contained something small at the beginning, but the endings were enormous and impossible to ignore. Above each exhibit floated the same quiet pattern. Not impossible, just postponed. Noah noticed something unsettling about the room. Every lost future had started as an ordinary day. None of them looked dramatic when they were still alive. He entered a circular room filled with clocks. Each clock had stopped at a different decision. In the center stood one long black table. Across it rested hundreds of unlived invitations. There were workshop tickets and unsent emails. There were half-written letters and unopened software files. There were running shoes beside untouched roads. There were family dinners skipped for no real reason. There were tiny beginnings waiting for a better mood. Noah finally asked where all these exhibits came from. The faceless attendant pointed toward a mirror wall. In the reflection, Noah saw no monster and no thief. He saw hesitation repeated until it became architecture. The museum was built from choices too small to fear, and too frequent to notice until they were gone. The attendant opened a final door in silence. Inside stood an exhibit labeled "Tomorrow Morning." Noah felt his stomach tighten immediately. The glass case was still empty for now. Yet the platform inside held several name cards. Ignore the message from your brother. Delay the proposal outline one more day. Skip the walk because motivation is low. Say maybe later to the workshop invitation. Postpone the doctor appointment again. Noah understood the horror at once. The museum was not preserving old losses only. It was still collecting from the present. Every delay was a donation to this building. Tomorrow's exhibit was waiting for Noah's next excuse. Noah ran back through the halls in panic. Every case now seemed to watch him. The train ticket rattled against the glass. The unsent message glowed brighter than before. The unopened book looked almost accusatory. When he reached the lobby, the attendant blocked the exit. For the first time, it finally spoke. "Unlived days do not disappear," it whispered. "They become the walls around smaller lives." Then the attendant gave Noah a single match. "Not all lost days can return," it said. "But some futures can still be rescued." The museum doors opened behind him without warning. Noah stumbled back into his apartment hallway. The ticket on his desk had turned to ash. It was 12:11 a.m. in his apartment. Only 11 real minutes had passed. Noah looked at the glowing screen on his desk. There was still a message from his brother unanswered. There was still the proposal outline waiting blankly. There were still walking shoes near the door. There was still a workshop invitation in his inbox. There was still time, but the feeling was different now. These were not tiny tasks anymore. They were living days that had not entered the museum yet. Noah answered his brother first. Then he wrote the opening line of the proposal. Then he registered for the workshop before doubt returned. Then he placed his walking shoes by the bed. For the first time, later began losing territory. The next morning, Noah walked before checking his phone. The sky looked ordinary, but he noticed everything. Action felt smaller and more possible than before. Later that week, he called an old friend. The conversation was awkward, but it reopened the door. He finished the proposal section he had delayed for weeks. He attended the workshop and met 2 valuable people. He booked the medical appointment he kept postponing. He even opened the plastic-wrapped book and read 10 pages. None of these actions looked heroic from the outside. But each one prevented a future exhibit from being built. Noah finally understood the museum's real lesson. Life is rarely stolen in giant dramatic moments. It is quietly surrendered through repeated postponement. So if something still matters, let today keep it alive. For 30 days, Noah followed every habit he had carefully. He woke early, exercised, read, worked, and guarded his attention. At first, visible progress seemed to appear almost everywhere daily. His energy improved, his room changed, and confidence steadily grew. Then, without warning, every visible sign of progress suddenly stopped. The scale barely moved despite Noah's continued daily disciplined effort. The difficult book still felt confusing and frustrating to understand. His work looked almost identical to what he made previously. Even his regular workouts began feeling strangely dull and ordinary. Noah wondered whether all his effort had finally stopped working. Every new day looked exactly like the one before it. The excitement he felt at the beginning had completely disappeared. Only quiet repetition remained in every part of his routine. But repetition never felt exciting enough to resemble real success. It felt like an endless flat road without any destination. The plateau began whispering dangerous ideas directly into Noah's mind. Maybe you have already reached the limit of your ability. Maybe this routine was never truly right for you anyway. Maybe others improve faster because they are naturally better equipped. Comparison hurt because Noah could not see his own progress. One evening, Noah nearly skipped his entire carefully built routine. He wanted just one day completely free from demanding effort. Then one imagined day quickly expanded into an entire week. That imagined week became permission to disappear from everything completely. The old version of Noah seemed ready to return again. He felt the familiar pull of comfort drawing him backward. Stopping promised immediate relief from uncertainty, frustration, and repeated effort. Continuing promised nothing visible that Noah could clearly recognize yet. That is exactly why long plateaus become so psychologically dangerous. they quietly make quitting appear completely logical and reasonable instead. That night, Noah opened the glowing notebook once again. Its pages remained completely blank while Noah waited in silence. Then one simple golden image slowly appeared before his eyes. It showed a small seed buried beneath dark, heavy soil. Above the ground, nothing visible showed any sign of growth. Below, powerful golden roots spread outward in every possible direction. The notebook revealed the hidden truth behind meaningful long-term progress. Growth often happens somewhere you cannot measure or observe yet. Strength develops internally long before its results become visibly obvious. Knowledge connects quietly before it becomes confidence and clear understanding. Skills organize internally before they become smooth, quick, and automatic. Discipline strengthens before your external life starts looking noticeably different. The plateau was not necessarily empty, useless, or without progress. Sometimes powerful construction was happening quietly beneath the visible surface. Noah had mistaken hidden growth for failure and wasted effort. Next, the notebook showed Noah a wide frozen winter river. For many days, the surrounding temperature rose only slightly higher. Yet the thick frozen ice appeared completely unchanged from outside. One warmer day was still not enough to melt it. Even 2 warmer days could not melt the frozen surface. Several warmer days still produced no visible change or result. Then the temperature finally crossed one critical hidden threshold point. The frozen ice cracked almost instantly across the entire river. What looked sudden had actually been building quietly for days. The final degree received nearly all the attention and praise. But every earlier degree had made that breakthrough completely possible. Noah finally understood why people often misunderstand visible success stories. They notice the dramatic breakthrough that everyone can easily observe. They rarely notice the quiet preparation occurring before that breakthrough. The plateau was simply preparation happening without recognition or applause. The next morning, Noah decided to test the notebook's lesson. He would continue following his routine for 14 additional days. He would stop demanding visible proof from himself every morning. Instead, he measured his actions rather than immediate visible outcomes. Did he simply show up and begin the planned activity? Did he complete the smallest acceptable version of that action? Did he return again after experiencing one especially difficult day? Those 3 questions became his new and more reliable measurements. Day 1 still felt completely ordinary and almost disappointingly familiar. Day 3 felt nearly identical to everything he had done. Day 6 brought no dramatic or easily noticeable external change. Day 9 deeply tested Noah's patience and remaining self-belief again. Day 11 made quitting feel painfully tempting to him again. But Noah remembered the powerful roots growing beneath empty soil. So he completed the smallest version and continued moving forward. On day 12, something small but meaningful finally changed inside. The difficult book suddenly felt easier for Noah to follow. A confusing concept finally connected clearly inside his focused mind. His workout no longer required a long internal argument beforehand. His body began moving before resistance had time to grow. At work, he solved one problem much faster than usual. The improvement was too small for anyone else to notice. But Noah noticed the difference immediately and quietly smiled afterward. The hidden roots had finally reached the visible surface above. On day 13, growing confidence began replacing his usual hesitation. By day 14, the routine felt like part of Noah. The plateau had never actually been blocking Noah's continued progress. It had been compressing repeated effort into deeper internal strength. Then all that stored energy finally released and moved upward. Noah reached a level he could not access before then. For some time, progress became exciting and visible once again. His reading speed and understanding both improved noticeably over time. His workouts became stronger, smoother, and more controlled each day. His work became more focused, creative, polished, and consistently effective. Then, several months later, another long plateau appeared before Noah. This time, Noah remained calm instead of becoming deeply afraid. He immediately recognized the familiar silence of that flat landscape. He knew the missing excitement would eventually return again later. He knew invisible roots were growing beneath this plateau too. He carefully adjusted only what genuinely needed improvement or change. He rested whenever his body truly required proper physical recovery. He asked for guidance whenever his method needed serious improvement. But he never confused slow progress with absolutely zero progress. He kept showing up without demanding recognition, praise, or applause. The plateau became a place of patience instead of fear. Most people fail not because they cannot genuinely improve themselves. They fail because improvement stays invisible for far too long. They expect every effort to reward them almost immediately afterward. When rewards arrive late, they assume their system is broken. But meaningful growth almost never follows one perfectly straight line. It moves through bursts, pauses, and periods of hidden construction. A flat section does not necessarily mean the journey ends. Sometimes your next level is being built quietly underneath there. When progress becomes quiet, do not immediately abandon your path. Honestly examine whether your current method still makes practical sense. Reduce the habit when the full version feels unmanageable today. Rest whenever your body truly needs time for proper recovery. Ask someone for help whenever you become genuinely stuck there. Never mistake invisible growth for effort that was completely wasted. Your breakthrough may already be forming directly beneath your feet.
One morning, Noah found a strange machine beside his desk. It was small, silver, and completely silent. A single button glowed beneath a glass window. Noah pressed it. Distant applause filled the room. Then one golden token dropped into a tray. The token carried a simple smiling face. Noah pressed the button again, and more applause followed. For several minutes, the sound made him feel powerful. Then the machine displayed a new condition. Applause would continue whenever other people approved of him. Noah laughed because the idea sounded harmless. He already enjoyed being useful, polite, and dependable. The machine was not measuring kindness. It was measuring how often Noah abandoned himself. And it had already begun counting. That afternoon, a co-worker asked Noah for extra help. Noah had planned to finish his own important project. Refusing might make him seem selfish. A yes before checking his actual capacity. The machine chimed inside his backpack. A golden token appeared without anyone seeing it. Later, another co-worker requested a last-minute favor. Noah agreed again, though his energy was nearly gone. Another token dropped into the hidden tray. By evening, his own work remained unfinished. Still, the machine contained 6 shining tokens. Each token felt like evidence that people valued him. They ignored the exhaustion behind his eyes. He had received approval, so the day felt successful. The machine had converted self-neglect into reward. The following week, Noah became easier to control. He changed opinions whenever a room became uncomfortable. After jokes he did not find funny. Accepted plans he did not want to attend. Apologized for problems he had not created. But whenever someone smiled, the machine rewarded him. Whenever someone looked disappointed, the machine remained silent. Silence soon felt more painful than honest disagreement. Noah began predicting everyone's expectations before they spoke. He adjusted his personality for every different group. At work, he became endlessly available. With friends, he became endlessly agreeable. Alone, he could not remember what he preferred. The machine was full of tokens. But Noah's own voice was becoming difficult to hear. One evening, the machine produced a red token. Noah had declined a dinner invitation because he was exhausted. His friend responded with a disappointed message. The machine released a harsh mechanical alarm. The red token displayed a frowning face. Noah immediately questioned his decision. Maybe resting was selfish after all. Maybe a good friend would ignore exhaustion. He changed his answer and attended the dinner. The red token transformed into gold. Everyone seemed pleased when Noah arrived. But he sat quietly while his energy disappeared. The machine rewarded the corrected decision. Noah realized approval could erase physical limits. He had begun treating disappointment like danger. That night, the mysterious notebook opened beside the machine. On this page appeared a puppet with golden strings. Each string connected to a smiling audience member. The puppet danced whenever the audience approved. When the audience turned away, the puppet collapsed. Then the notebook revealed a second image. The compass sat unused beneath the puppet's feet. Noah understood the machine's hidden cost. External approval was replacing internal direction. Kindness was becoming fear-driven obedience. Flexibility was becoming the disappearance of boundaries. Connection was becoming performance. The notebook offered one unsettling question. If nobody applauded, would you still choose this? Noah could not answer immediately. The next morning, Noah tested one small boundary. A coworker requested help during his protected work hour. Noah felt the familiar urge to agree instantly. Instead, he checked his schedule before responding. He offered help later after finishing his priority. The coworker looked mildly disappointed. The machine remained completely silent. No golden token appeared in the tray. Noah's chest tightened as if something terrible happened. Yet the coworker simply nodded and walked away. The office did not collapse. The relationship did not end. Noah completed his most important work before lunch. The first time, silence felt slightly less dangerous. The honest boundary had returned a piece of his voice. Noah began separating kindness from approval seeking. Real kindness considered both people in the situation. Approval seeking protected one person by erasing the other. Practice saying, "I cannot do that today." He practiced saying, "I need time to decide." He practiced disagreeing without attacking anyone. Some people respected the new honesty immediately. Others preferred the version of Noah without boundaries. The machine produced fewer golden tokens. It produced several red ones as well. But Noah noticed something unexpected. Relationships became clearer. People who valued him stayed close. The people who valued only convenience became distant. Losing false approval created space for real connection. Then the machine offered Noah its final bargain. 1,000 tokens would unlock permanent admiration. To earn them, Noah had to accept every request. He had to avoid disagreement for 30 days. He had to become exactly what others wanted. The tray already contained 999 tokens. The one final yes remained. That moment, his manager requested a dishonest report. Approving it would protect the team from criticism. Refusing might disappoint everyone in the room. The machine began glowing brighter than ever. Noah looked at the token tray, then at his compass. He closed the report and stated the truth. The machine shattered before the final token fell. Silenced, Noah finally heard his own voice. Noah woke to 3 knocks. Nobody stood outside his apartment door. Only 3 sealed envelopes rested on the floor. One was gray, one was red, one was gold. They carried the same symbol, Noah's own fingerprint. He checked the hallway, but every light was off. Then the clock inside his apartment stopped completely. The gray envelope opened by itself. Cold air filled the room as darkness widened. A familiar voice whispered beyond the living room wall. Older, tired, and unmistakably like Noah. As he could move, the floor became a corridor. 3 doors appeared where his living room had been. Each door led toward a different version of tomorrow. One ordinary decision connected all three futures. The grey door opened into a silent apartment. Golden Noah sat beneath a flickering television. The room was clean, safe, and almost lifeless. Nothing terrible had happened to this version of Noah. He had simply chosen comfort whenever uncertainty appeared. He stayed in work he had stopped caring about. He kept friendships alive through occasional reaction icons. He stored ideas inside folders he never reopened. Every evening looked peaceful from outside the window. Inside, the days had become nearly identical. Older Noah pointed toward a wall of closed doors. Each door represented an opportunity once considered. None had been rejected by the outside world. Noah had closed them himself by choosing not yet. The grey future was painless but painfully small. The red door revealed a completely different life. The older Noah lived inside towers of notebooks. Plans covered the walls from ceiling to floor. Every project possessed research diagrams and perfect schedules. Yet nothing had ever entered the real world. This Noah had become an expert at preparation. He could explain every risk before anyone began. He could predict criticism before anyone actually spoke. He improved plans until their deadlines disappeared. His work remained protected from failure and discovery. The soft glass case held his greatest unfinished idea. It looked brilliant after 15 silent years. The brilliance trapped in glass had helped nobody. Older Noah touched the case with shaking hands. I prepared for life until life stopped waiting. The golden door opened before Noah could recover. Warm light flooded a crowded creative studio. Older Noah stood beside imperfect finished projects. Failed, while others had changed lives. The walls displayed mistakes instead of hiding them. Argued, laughed, and built ideas together. This future contained stress, rejection, and uncertainty. It also contained movement, connection, and unexpected joy. Older Noah had not become fearless or lucky. He simply acted before complete certainty arrived. He introduced Noah to collaborators once approached nervously. He showed a company born from one rough prototype. He showed a friendship saved by one honest conversation. Life expanded by uncomfortable decisions. His future was messy but unmistakably alive. Noah demanded to know which future was real. All three older versions looked directly at him. Then every room began shaking at once. The three futures collapsed into one dark chamber. At the center stood a simple wooden table. On the table rested one unanswered email. It invited Noah to present an unfinished idea tomorrow. He had planned to decline it that morning. The grey future came from avoiding the invitation. The red future came from preparing forever first. The golden future came from answering before certainty. The mysterious doors were not supernatural prophecies. They were consequences repeated into permanent directions. One choice would not determine Noah's entire life. But the same choice repeated certainly could. The clock restarted, returning Noah to midnight. The three envelopes vanished from the apartment floor. Only the unanswered email remained on his screen. His finger hovered above the decline button. Fear immediately supplied several reasonable explanations. The idea needed more research and stronger evidence. The presentation might expose weaknesses he had missed. Someone more experienced could probably explain it better. Each excuse sounded intelligent because fear wrote it. Noah opened a reply and typed one sentence. I will present the current version tomorrow. His heartbeat accelerated after he pressed send. Nothing magical happened inside the quiet room. One invisible future had just lost power. The future had taken its first breath. The next morning, Noah arrived earlier than everyone. He expected confidence, but only nervousness appeared. Minds contained gaps he could not solve. Instead of hiding them, he marked them honestly. The meeting began and Noah's mouth felt dry. His first explanation sounded less polished than rehearsed. Then a colleague asked the question he feared most. Noah paused because he did not know the answer. The grey future invited him to retreat silently. The red future urged him to invent something impressive. Instead, Noah admitted what remained uncertain. Then he asked the room to help test it. The question transformed into a useful discussion. 3 colleagues improved the idea within 20 minutes. The imperfect presentation became a collaborative breakthrough. Success did not make every future choice easy. Later, Noah avoided a difficult conversation. The grey corridor returned briefly inside his imagination. He recognized how quickly old futures regained strength. He called before rehearsing every possible sentence. The conversation felt uncomfortable, but the friendship survived. Later, one creative project failed in public. The red future offered endless analysis and shame. Noah recorded the lesson and built another version. Months passed, and repeated choices changed his direction. Life never became a perfect golden movie. It contained doubt, missed chances, and occasional retreat. It also contained returns after every wrong turn. Futures are not selected once and permanently secured. They are fed through the decisions repeated today.
Noah had become disciplined, focused, and far more patient. But one area of his life remained completely unchanged. He still avoided anything making him feel exposed publicly. He avoided speaking first during important team meetings entirely. He avoided introducing himself to unfamiliar people around him. He avoided opportunities that felt too ambitious or uncertain. He even avoided taking unfamiliar routes through the city. His days remained productive, but increasingly repetitive and predictable. Nothing terrible ever happened inside his carefully controlled routine. But nothing surprising or life-changing ever happened there either. At first, the safe circle felt warm and comfortable. Then that comfortable circle slowly began shrinking around Noah. Every avoided challenge quietly removed another piece of freedom. Soon, comfort no longer felt restorative or genuinely peaceful. It resembled a room whose walls moved inward daily. One Monday, Noah's manager announced an important new project. The team needed someone to lead a short presentation. Noah understood the project better than anyone else present. He had already solved most of its difficult problems. For 1 second, he nearly raised his hand confidently. Then fear delivered a list of imagined possible disasters. What if his voice shook before everyone watching him? What if someone asked something he could not answer? What if everyone discovered he was not truly ready? His raised hand slowly returned toward the table again. Another colleague volunteered before Noah could reconsider his choice. The manager accepted and handed them the important project. That colleague gained praise, experience, and another valuable opportunity. Noah received safety, silence, and no visible embarrassment instead. And suddenly, that safety felt painfully expensive to him. That evening, Noah opened the familiar, mysterious, glowing notebook. A drawing appeared inside an open cage. The cage door had never actually been locked shut. Still, the frightened animal refused to walk outside alone. Beneath it, the notebook revealed another important warning quietly. Avoidance teaches fear that its predictions were actually correct. Every escape becomes evidence proving the danger was real. Every retreat makes the next attempt feel even harder. At last, Noah recognized the complete repeating psychological pattern. Fear always appeared before each approaching uncomfortable challenge arrived. Avoidance removed that fear temporarily and rewarded retreat immediately. That brief relief made retreat feel like successful protection. Then the brain remembered avoidance as the safest response. After every escape, Noah's safe circle became much smaller. He was not protecting confidence, he was strengthening fear. The notebook never demanded Noah become fearless overnight completely. Instead, it showed him 10 small golden ladder rungs. The first rung represented only mild, manageable discomfort today. The top represented the challenge Noah avoided most often. His task was never jumping directly toward the top. His task was climbing one manageable rung each time. He listed every situation that regularly frightened him most. Asking one stranger politely for the current time outside. Starting one brief friendly conversation with a nearby coworker. Sharing one simple sentence during a normal work meeting. Explaining one familiar idea to only 3 people nearby. Finally, leading a prepared 5-minute presentation for colleagues confidently. Each step felt uncomfortable but still realistically possible today. That manageable discomfort was exactly the level Noah needed. Courage grows through repeated experience, not imagination alone ever. The following morning, Noah attempted the smallest challenge first. He politely asked one stranger for the current time. His heartbeat accelerated rapidly before he finally spoke aloud. The entire conversation lasted only 5 brief, harmless seconds. Nothing terrible, humiliating, or dangerous happened afterward at all. The stranger answered casually and continued walking away normally. Noah's fear did not disappear immediately after that moment, but it became slightly smaller and less convincing afterward. The next day, Noah greeted a coworker first nervously. His voice sounded quieter than he wanted it to. Still, the coworker smiled warmly and greeted him back. On day 3, Noah asked one follow-up question calmly. The conversation continued for almost 1 full minute together. Noah returned toward his desk, feeling noticeably more energized. The world outside his safe circle had not attacked. Then Noah attempted a higher rung far too quickly. He volunteered to explain an idea without preparing beforehand. His mind went completely blank after the first sentence. The following silence felt endless inside his frightened mind. His face became hot and both hands started shaking. He rushed through the explanation and quickly sat down. For the remaining day, shame followed him everywhere silently. The old, fearful voice immediately returned inside his thoughts. You see, you were right to avoid this entirely. Noah almost erased the entire courage ladder from memory. But the notebook opened itself to another glowing page. One difficult attempt never proves permanent personal inability alone. It provides useful data for your next practice session. Noah had climbed too many rungs in one attempt. The answer was not retreat, but one smaller step. Over following weeks, Noah practiced slowly, carefully, and consistently. He spoke exactly once during every scheduled team meeting. He recorded short explanations while practicing alone at home. He watched those recordings without insulting or shaming himself. He improved breathing, posture, and pacing one detail daily. He practiced answering unexpected questions without immediate panic afterward. He learned to pause and breathe instead of rushing. Fear remained present, but stopped controlling every important decision. Then another challenging project arrived at his workplace suddenly. Again, the team needed someone willing to present publicly. Noah's heart immediately began racing inside the meeting room. But this time, the fear felt familiar and manageable. He raised his hand before the old retreat returned. The manager smiled and gave Noah the project folder. The next rung of courage waited directly ahead now. Presentation day arrived much sooner than Noah had wanted. His hands felt cold while his stomach tightened painfully. Courage did not feel like calm confidence that morning. It felt like fear still moving forward despite discomfort. Noah spoke the first sentence slowly and deliberately aloud. Then he paused briefly, breathed, and found steadiness again. The second sentence arrived more clearly than the first. A difficult question suddenly came from the back row. Noah did not know the complete answer immediately yet. He admitted what he knew and what required verification. The room respected his honesty and calm professional response. By the end, Noah still felt understandably nervous inside. But now he stood much larger than his fear. Every brave action had gradually expanded Noah's entire life. Your world grows whenever you cross one familiar edge.
Sometimes the road ahead resembles an endless staircase into gray clouds. Standing below it, we feel exhausted before taking one step. We want to rush upward and conquer everything in one moment. But rushing makes us slip, fall, and lose our confidence. After repeated failures, we sit down while time passes quietly. We imagine becoming healthier, calmer, organized, confident, and truly productive. Yet reality finds us surrounded by clutter and constant distractions. Our phones hold our attention while precious hours silently disappear. The staircase remains ahead, but we cannot find the beginning. Then one tiny step suddenly begins glowing inside the darkness. Someone shows the path and hands us one tiny seed. It seems far too small to change anything important. Yet one bright dot stands apart among countless ordinary circles. A little ball can trigger a chain across the room. A tiny snowball grows larger while rolling down the mountain. Every powerful transformation can begin with something nearly invisible. So we stop climbing the entire staircase in one attempt. We focus only on the first step directly before us. One small movement still carries us closer to the light. The alarm rings and two voices argue inside our minds. One requests more sleep. The other asks us to rise. This time, we do not demand a perfect morning. We simply sit up, straighten the blanket, and make the bed. Then we pour one glass of water and drink it. Nothing dramatic happens, but our first promise is completed. When exercising, we avoid demanding an impossible first workout. Even one push-up makes our arms shake and struggle. Still, that single repetition becomes a genuine beginning. The following day, we return and complete slightly more. 1 becomes 3, then 4, then 5, then 6. Small marks appear, proving our quiet effort is accumulating. What felt impossible slowly becomes familiar, normal, and manageable. We look in the mirror and notice someone changing. Progress is not exploding above. It is growing underneath. Like a seed, change first builds roots beneath the soil. Only later does a green shoot reach the sunlight. That first leaf feels almost like witnessing a miracle. But the miracle came from caring for it daily. Learning follows the same pattern of manageable, repeated effort. A thick book feels mountainous when viewed all at once. A tall stack can defeat us before we begin. So we open one book and read only 2 pages. Tomorrow, we read 2 more and mark the calendar. 2 pages seem tiny, but repeated pages create chapters. Chapters become books, and books become knowledge within us. The towering stack no longer appears like an enemy. We sit calmly and let understanding grow page by page. A creative skill also starts with something awkward and simple. Our first circle may look uneven, weak, and embarrassing. We draw again, repeating the same movement patiently. Frame after frame, our hand steadies and our vision sharpens. Eventually, the empty screen becomes a colorful, finished artwork. Talent grows through hundreds of repetitions nobody else sees. Money develops through the same patience and small decisions. At first, the savings jar holds one lonely coin. It looks ridiculous beside expensive objects demanding our attention. Phones, games, clothes, and sales pull us away. We place another coin inside and protect our goal. Day by day, coins slowly fill the empty jar. One jar becomes each serving a meaningful purpose. We divide money among needs, savings, learning, and opportunities. Security grows from consistent choices, not one lucky moment. Still, life sometimes becomes crowded with too many responsibilities. Work, food, exercise, money, clocks, and alerts fall together. We fill the calendar, then wish to erase everything. Some days succeed, while others remain empty and unfinished. One missed mark can make the journey feel ruined. But one difficult day cannot erase weeks of progress. The important action is returning on the following day. We mark another box and patiently rebuild our rhythm. Instead of serving the calendar, we learn to guide it. We simplify the environment surrounding every habit we want. At night, clothes, shoes, and water wait beside us. We dress, take the bottle, and move before doubt. At the desk, unnecessary devices and cables disappear. Games, boxes, and distracting objects leave the workspace. Only essential tools remain beneath the warm desk lamp. The phone enters a locked box beyond easy reach. Notifications and social media crash against a protective shield. Inside this quiet space, attention finally begins breathing. We read beside warm light while a sleepy cat rests. Good environments make useful actions easier than distraction. Habits are not one enormous decision made once. They are signals and actions connected into repeating sequences. The clock, glass, shoes, calendar, and book become reminders. Each object quietly reveals what action should happen next. Wake, drink, move, work, learn, rest, and prepare. These actions form the steady rhythm of meaningful days. Stone after stone eventually becomes a dependable walking path. Every completed action creates another glowing point below. Bright steps appear where no visible road existed. From far away, the pathway still looks difficult. While walking, we only face the nearest step. The process will not always feel exciting or rewarding. Some days, even small weights make both arms tremble. Sweat falls, faces redden, and bodies beg to stop. Sometimes we collapse and lose another evening online. Wasted days stretch behind us like a heavy shadow. We may slip from the staircase toward the dark mountain. Falling never means the story has finally ended. A climber grips the rock, resets, and continues upward. When confused, we ask someone experienced for direction. A teacher, friend, or conversation can reveal the next step. Every lesson adds another section to our glowing staircase. Quiet effort eventually becomes visible to other people. Then we choose one important task and focus completely. We learn, practice, and solve problems with greater calm. First, we speak nervously before a small group. Later, we stand confidently before an entire crowded hall. What once frightened us becomes a place of strength. We stop drowning among screens, charts, and unfinished plans. We finish one meaningful task before beginning another. Small habits reveal the person we truly want to become. We choose reading, movement, saving, creating, learning, and growth. Repeated effort cracks the wall that once seemed unbreakable. One final strike opens sunlight and a wider life. Success was never one leap, but thousands of small steps. Drink one glass, read one page, save one coin. Place your foot on the first step before feeling ready. 1% daily can carry you beyond every old expectation.
Noah believed he had finally gained control over life. He woke, worked, read, and moved before motivation arrived. But one hidden enemy survived every improvement he made. It appeared harmless, bright, entertaining, and strangely inviting daily. That pleasant disguise was made its influence far more powerful. The true enemy was never the phone itself alone. It was endless searching for another effortless, rewarding moment. Every swipe promised something new within a single second. Every short video erased boredom before discomfort could grow. At first, Noah believed he was simply resting briefly. Then one harmless clip quietly multiplied into 5 more. 20 clips became an hour he could never recover. When Noah looked up, the room had become darker. His body felt tired despite doing nothing physically difficult. Worst of all, he no longer wanted to begin. Easy rewards made ordinary effort feel painfully slow afterward. Even one important project suddenly felt almost impossible today. He trained his attention to expect novelty and excitement. That evening, Noah opened the mysterious glowing notebook again. A new warning appeared across the quietly glowing page. What feels harmless today can become tomorrow's invisible cage. Noah slowly examined the smartphone resting inside his hand. It resembled a machine controlling his very next decision. But the notebook revealed another important hidden warning nearby. Ignoring a trigger never destroys the underlying habit completely. You must redesign whatever action follows that trigger instead. The next morning, Noah carefully began observing his behavior. He noticed his phone appeared whenever work became uncertain. He reached for it whenever exercise started feeling uncomfortable. The trigger was not always simple ordinary boredom alone. Sometimes the real trigger was confusing uncertainty during work. Sometimes it was overwhelming stress pressing against him heavily. Sometimes fear of performing badly pushed him toward escape. The phone offered instant escape from every difficult feeling. Noah realized stronger willpower was not what he needed. He needed fewer automatic routes leading toward easy escape. So he redesigned the first 10 minutes each morning. The phone stopped sleeping conveniently beside his pillow nightly. Instead, it charged inside a box near the door. A simple alarm clock replaced his phone each morning. Using the phone now required several deliberate physical steps. That small distance created something unexpectedly powerful inside him. It created one pause between impulse and automatic action. Inside that pause, Noah remembered what he truly wanted. He applied the same principle throughout his daily workspace. The phone entered a closed drawer before work began. Noah did not eliminate all entertainment from his life. He removed distractions from the pathway toward meaningful goals. The first focus session felt deeply uncomfortable and unfamiliar. His hand automatically moved toward the closed desk drawer. His mind instantly produced convincing and urgent excuses again. But Noah stayed firmly seated inside his working chair. He watched the craving rise like a powerful wave. Then it slowly fell without ever being obeyed once. Noah discovered an urge was never an unavoidable command. After the urge passed, his task became much easier. 10 focused minutes gradually expanded into 25 strong minutes. Those 25 minutes quickly created visible, meaningful project progress. Real progress produced satisfaction that remained much longer afterward. For once, Noah clearly understood the difference between rewards. Lasting satisfaction remained inside him as genuine confidence afterward. He created one new rule governing entertainment and leisure. Enjoy entertainment deliberately, never unconsciously or accidentally ever again. He disabled automatic notifications across every distracting application immediately. As the phone quieted, Noah's mind became quieter too. But progress soon invited another difficult emotional test unexpectedly. One weekend, Noah felt deeply exhausted, isolated, and lonely. He opened one cheerful video, hoping to improve mood. Hours later, he remained there, still continuously watching alone. The old addictive loop returned much faster than expected. When the screen darkened, painful shame immediately appeared inside. Noah nearly declared the entire experiment a complete failure. Then the notebook reminded him of an older lesson. A relapse provides information, not a permanent personal identity. So Noah asked himself one more useful question instead. What feeling was he desperately trying to escape today? The honest answer was simply loneliness beneath everything else. The following weekend, Noah prepared a healthier, different response. When loneliness returned, he called one trusted close friend. When exhaustion appeared, he allowed himself a real nap. When stress arrived, he walked quietly without headphones outside. Each trigger received an answer matching its actual need. The old escape loop gradually lost its controlling power. Weeks passed and Noah's attention slowly began returning again. He could read longer without constantly seeking new stimulation. He worked through confusion instead of escaping toward distraction. He could sit quietly without needing constant noise nearby. Boredom stopped feeling like an emergency demanding immediate escape. Instead, boredom transformed into a doorway toward possibility itself. Behind boredom, Noah discovered new ideas waiting patiently inside. Behind silence, he discovered clarity and calmer thinking again. Behind discomfort, he discovered genuine growth becoming possible slowly. Then Noah noticed something deeply unexpected about everyday life. His days did not feel less enjoyable afterward either. They felt more vivid, grounded, meaningful, and entirely real. Even ordinary conversations became richer and more interesting again. Attention had always been the missing ingredient in experience. Whatever received Noah's full attention began feeling alive again. One afternoon, Noah returned to his familiar rooftop alone. The city below flashed with endless promises and stimulation. Every glowing light competed to become his next thought. Noah understood that competition would never willingly stop itself. There would always be another new video waiting nearby. Another message would always appear behind the previous message. Another game would open beyond the game already completed. Another effortless reward would arrive upon the endless conveyor. The world would never protect Noah's attention for him. He had to decide what truly deserved that attention. Look closely at what owns your next 10 minutes. Do not begin by destroying every possible distraction immediately. Begin instead by creating one small deliberate pause first. Move the phone farther away from your immediate reach. Place the book closer beside your working hand instead. Turn off one notification that repeatedly interrupts your mind. Finish one meaningful task before opening one distracting application. Allow boredom to simply exist for 60 quiet seconds. Notice the urge clearly without automatically obeying its demand. Then choose the action your future will actually remember. Because attention is more than whatever you currently see. Attention is what your entire life slowly becomes eventually. Noah had changed many habits, but one belief remained. He still described himself using old limiting labels. I am not a confident person. I am terrible with money. I never finish creative project. I am simply bad at meeting new people. Each sentence sounded like an honest description. But every label quietly became an instruction. When an opportunity appeared, the label answered first. Confidence was for other people. Organization belonged to naturally disciplined minds. Creativity belonged to people born with talent. Noah repeated these ideas until they felt permanent. He stopped testing whether they were still true. His identity became a cage built from old evidence. One afternoon, Noah received an invitation to a workshop. The event included strangers, discussions, and public exercises. It could help him develop an important professional skill. But the old label immediately appeared. I am not the kind of person who does this. Noah imagined awkward silence and uncomfortable introductions. He imagined everyone else appearing confident and prepared. Without checking the details, he declined the invitation. Relief arrived the moment he pressed the button. Yet relief was followed by a familiar disappointment. The label had protected him from temporary discomfort. It had also removed another possible future. Noah wondered how many doors had closed this way. Maybe the world was not rejecting him. Maybe he was rejecting himself before the world could answer. That evening, Noah opened the mysterious notebook again. A mirror appeared across the glowing page. Inside the mirror stood 5 different versions of Noah. One was confident, another calm, another creative. A fourth managed money carefully. The fifth spoke easily with unfamiliar people. Noah searched for the real version among them. Then the mirror shattered into hundreds of small actions. Each action became one piece of an identity. The notebook revealed a simple truth. Identity is not only something you discover. It is also something you repeatedly practice. Every action becomes a vote for one possible self. One vote does not decide the entire election. But repeated votes eventually create a clear result. Noah decided to test the idea with confidence. He did not begin with a large public speech. He began by asking one question during a meeting. His voice sounded quieter than he wanted. Still, he had cast one vote for courage. The next day, he greeted a coworker first. That became a second vote. Later, he shared one unfinished idea with the team. The idea was not perfect, but it was useful. That became another vote for confidence. Noah began collecting evidence his old label ignored. He was not suddenly fearless or naturally outgoing. He was practicing behaviors confident people often practice. The identity changed after the actions, not before them. Confidence became a pattern instead of a personality gift. Next, Noah challenged the label about money. He had always called himself careless with spending. That label made every mistake feel inevitable. So he started with one small financial action. He wrote down every purchase for 7 days. Some expenses surprised him, while others felt unnecessary. Instead of feeling ashamed, he treated the list as evidence. On the 8th day, he created one simple spending limit. He moved a small amount into savings automatically. The action looked too small to change his identity. But the notebook reminded him that votes accumulate. Each recorded purchase became a vote for awareness. Each saved dollar became a vote for responsibility. After several weeks, careless no longer felt completely accurate. A new identity was beginning to earn evidence. Then Noah faced the hardest label of all. He believed he was someone who never finished creative work. His computer contained dozens of abandoned beginnings. Each unfinished project seemed to confirm the label. So Noah selected the smallest project he could complete. It was a simple 2-page guide for beginners. He limited the project to 1 weekend. Perfection was not allowed to expand the scope. On Saturday, he wrote the rough version. On Sunday, he corrected the clearest problems. That evening, Noah exported the finished file. It was modest, imperfect, and completely real. For the first time, unfinished was not the final evidence. One completed project became a powerful new vote. Noah had proven the old label was not permanent. Of course, the new identity did not grow smoothly. One stressful week pulled Noah toward old behaviors. He avoided speaking, overspent, and abandoned a draft. The old labels returned with surprising speed. See, this is who you really are. For several hours, Noah believed the voice. Then he opened the notebook and reviewed the evidence. One bad week not erase months of new votes. Identity was a direction, not a perfect performance. Responsible people can still make careless decisions. Confident people can still feel afraid. Creative people can still leave work unfinished. The question was not whether Noah had failed once. The question was which identity received his next vote. So he returned with one small corrective action. Months later, the workshop invitation appeared again. The same old fear arrived beside it. But this time, Noah possessed different evidence. He had asked questions, shared ideas, and finished projects. He had managed money with greater care. He had survived awkward moments without collapsing. Noah accepted the invitation before doubt could grow. At the workshop, he still felt nervous. He introduced himself to one person near the entrance. Then he joined one small discussion. By the end, he had made 2 useful connections. Noah had not discovered a hidden, fearless personality. He had built a more capable identity through repeated action. So be careful with the labels you repeat. Your next small action can vote for someone new. Noah thought success was a giant leap that only special people could make. Every morning, he looked at his dreams and felt instantly overwhelmed. The more he wanted to change, the less he knew where to start. So he did what many people quietly do. He delayed everything again. The room was messy, the desk was buried, and his energy was gone. His phone kept stealing hours while his goals watched from the wall. At night, he promised tomorrow would finally be different. But morning always arrived faster than his motivation. One day, something strange happened before dawn. A small notebook was waiting on his desk, though he never placed it there. Its cover held just 4 words, "Start smaller than that." Noah opened it slowly, expecting some secret shortcut to success. Instead, the first page showed only one sentence. "If a task feels hard, make it ridiculously easy." Noah frowned, because the advice felt almost too simple to matter. Then he turned the page and found a drawing of a tiny domino. Below it, another sentence appeared in shining letters. "One small move can wake up an entire chain." That idea stayed fist Noah's head long after sunrise. So, the next morning, he tried the experiment. He did not force a perfect routine or a giant comeback. He simply sat up when the alarm rang. Then, he folded his blanket and made the bed. That tiny action gave him a strange feeling of control. Next, he drank 1 glass of water. It was ordinary siffment. It felt like a signal. His body seemed to understand that the day had started. The notebook then showed him the next rule. Sopshire, never fight the whole mountain. Step on one stone. So when he thought about exercise, he stopped imagining a brutal workout. He got down and did one push-up. His arms shook like wet noodles. He laughed, rested, and wrote a small check mark. The next day, he did 2. Then 3, then 4, then 5. The changes were tiny, almost invisible from the outside. But inside, something important had shifted. He was no longer waiting to feel ready. He was becoming the kind of person who begins. That identity change spilled into other parts of life. A thick book used to scare him instantly. Now, he opened it and read just 2 pages. He stopped asking, "Can I finish this whole book?" Instead, he asked, "Can I read for 4 minutes?" That question was gentle enough to answer with yes. 4 minutes became a habit that returned every evening. Pages slowly became chapters. Sads, praises. Chapters slowly became finished books. The boy who used to avoid reading now loved quiet learning. Then another challenge appeared: his scattered attention. Whenever he tried to focus, distractions attacked from every side. The notebook gave him a new instruction: make bad habits far away and good habits close. So Noah's placed his phone in a locked box. He removed game devices and random clutter from his desk. He left only a notebook, a pen, and 1 open task. Suddenly, focus became easier because confusion had fewer places to hide. For the first time in months, he finished deep work without panic. That small win felt better than endless scrolling ever had. The end. Then he tested the same idea with money. He was not rich, and that had always discouraged him. Still, he dropped 1 coin into the jar. The sound was tiny, but oddly powerful. The next day, he added another coin. Soon, the jar no longer looked empty. Later, he created 3 jars: spend, save, and learn. Money stopped feeling like chaos and started feeling like direction. But growth is never a perfectly clean climb. 1 terrible week broke his rhythm completely. He slept late, ignored the notebook, and drowned in old habits. The room became messy again, and guilt rushed in fast. He stared to the pressure and felt like a fraud. That was the moment most people quit for good. But the notebook opened by itself to 1 final warning. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is a new habit. Noah took a deep breath and made 1 small rescue move. He cleaned 1 corner of the room. Oops. Then he drank water. Again. Then he read 1 page, not 20. He did 1 push-up, not 50. It looked unimpressive, but the comeback had already begun. That day taught him a secret trance most people ignore. Falling off track is normal. Returning is what builds power. Weeks later, his outside world began reflecting his inside change. His posture became straighter, and his eyes more alert. His room stayed cleaner because cleaning had become automatic. His workouts grew longer without feeling terrified. His reading sessions grew deeper and more enjoyable. His savings jars started representing future possibilities, and his mind became quieter because fewer promises were being broken. Then a new door opened. Speaking in front of others. Public speaking had always terrified him, more than failure itself. So he used the fears and the save teams again. He did not aim to inspire a crowd. On day 1, he only practiced speaking for 30 seconds alone. The next day, he practiced for 1 minute. Then he spoke to one friend. Spoke to Austrianen. Then to 3 people. Then to a small room. Then to a Sal's Pranza. Months later, Noah stood beneath bright stage lights. The crowd listened carefully, as he's told them a simple truth. Big lives are usually built by embarrassingly small beginnings. People nodded, because they saw their own struggles in his story. Noah realized his greatest progress was not visible in muscles or money. It was visible in the person he had become. He trusted himself now because he kept small promises. He understood that discipline was not punishment. It was self-respect repeated in tiny actions. One return after off-fear was the highest form of self-respect. Soon, the staircase that once looked impossible felt different. It was still long, but no longer frightening. Because Noah no longer stared at the top. He simply watched his next step and took it. Nust. Then, another. Another sank sound. Then, another. Behind him, thousands of tiny steps had already changed his life. Ahead of him, even greater dreams were finally within reach. If you feel lost right now, do not wait for a miracle. Choose one small action and let it begin the chain, because one tiny step repeated daily can quietly rewrite everything.